Hi BookTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juan. I am just one reader and I am here with a book recommendation, and that is Vita Nostra or Vita Nostra. This was written in Russian a couple of years ago by Sergei and Marina Dyachenko, and it has been translated to English by Julia Maitov-Hersey. I want to recommend this book to everybody. So in this series of videos that I call book recommendations, I try to focus on books that have something different, something special, something that I found particularly appealing, or something that I think people should get to know. So I don't do this for every book that I read because, well, then what would be the point? The point in making this book recommendation videos is to highlight the books that I find are special or unique or that people would benefit from reading for a particular reason. An example of this, my first book recommendation video was for The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton, and my main reason for recommending that book to everybody was that I think it's a book that guarantees that the reader feel more adventurous and more confident in themselves. The next book recommendation video that I did was for The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne, and the reason why I decided to recommend that book to everybody was because of the tone, because of the great exercise of writing that that book represents in terms of how the sarcastic, really comical tone of the book plays with the perception of what's happening. So there's a very interesting conversation to be had in that book regarding the themes and the tone. So when it comes to Vita Nostra or Vita Nostra, I decided that this book really deserved a book recommendation video completely for itself. I think everybody would benefit from reading Vita Nostra because of how freaking original it is. It is a really unique book. It is very special. It is very different, and it is really it's not a book that will appeal to everybody. It's not a book that everybody will like or enjoy or love. However, I do feel like it's worth reading because of how different it is. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars, and from 1 to 10, I gave it, I think, 7.5 out of 10. So you can see that I liked it. However, that was not even the point. The point of this book is not if you like it or if you enjoy yourself while reading this. There's nothing really to enjoy here. And that's not a negative criticism. Although, well, you could make an argument for how this book is very difficult to like. It's very somber. It's very depressing. It's very tonally. It's almost like dead and morbid. And that's part of its originality and how different it is. It's a book that doesn't really give any joy or any fun to the reader. It's a book about characters that are often annoying and whiny and difficult to like and to identify with or relate to. It's a book about things that we don't really understand. It's about characters who are doing things that they don't even understand why they're doing those things. It's a book about mysteries that, for the most part, are never really solved that much. Some mysteries are solved, but it's not really a book that will be satisfying. It's not a satisfying read. So what the hell? Why are you recommending this book, Juan? Well, I think this book absolutely deserves a recommendation from me. I think this book is really recommendable because some people will like it, some people will hate it, but that's not the point. The point with this book for me is it's all about the experience of reading it. It's about, the book is really about learning and being frustrated constantly and feeling like you are not really having access to something. That is what the main character experiences throughout the novel. And that's what you, the reader, experience as well. You feel like you are never really understanding what's going on, and that makes up for a very frustrating experience. There were many times while reading this book in which I felt like, oh, why are you doing this? I do not understand it. Why are you frustrating me so? And it's weird because now that I finished reading the book and I started to mull it over and reflecting back on everything that happened, I'm starting to realize just how special it was and how weird the experience was. The only book that I can think of that I've read that I would maybe compare this to is the middle grade book. Actually, let me go get it because I think I have it on the shelf. Here it is. I just found it. The only book that I could compare Vita Nostra to is this book, Cravat, The Legend of the Satanic Meal by Ottfried Preußler. This book is sort of middle grade satanic adventure craziness. It's really weird and atmospheric, and you just feel depressed and desperate, and that this is the only book that I can think of that slightly resembles the experience that I got from reading Vita Nostra. So I think you should read it. I think you should give it a go. This book is like nothing you have read before. That doesn't guarantee that you will like it, but you know, if you want to try something that is out of your comfort zone, or you just want to see what the fuzz is all about with this book, well, I would recommend reading it because this book will give you a reading experience like nothing you've ever experienced before. Even on a physical level, this book will change you. For the 1 week that I spent reading this book, I felt like there was something inside of me, something dark, something vicious, something unnerving, something not exactly human. And that was not a pleasant experience at all. But it is a noteworthy experience. It's a noteworthy thing that this book generated in me. And that doesn't really happen a lot to me with a book. So you can say whatever you want about this book. Like me, I didn't really love it. I gave it 3 stars or 7.5 out of 10. But it was interesting and it was worthy of discussion, to say the least. So that is my recommendation for today, Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dychenko, translated to English by Julia Might of Hersey. Let me know what you think. I know that a lot of people have been talking about this book or starting to think about whether they should read this book or not. This book became sort of popular here, or it's starting to become popular here on BookTube because it was recommended by Matthew Sharapa. And of course, you know, Matthew Sharapa is one of those people who he's so knowledgeable that whenever he recommends something as highly as he did this, we all follow. And I think we really need to thank Matthew because what he has done is bring this book to the conversation. And again, it's not a book for everybody. Some people will love it, some people will like it, some people will hate it. I know that a lot of people will hate it as well. But it is a very interesting book to discuss. So thank you, Matthew Sharapa. And that is Vita Nostra. Thanks for watching, and I hope we can have a conversation about it.